All right, guys, Trey Smith here. Thank you so much for buying Colo's Journey. I really appreciate that, and I'm very interested to see how this little market test I'm doing works out. So hopefully I'll get a bunch of sales. We'll see. And I really don't know about the whole App Store process yet, so I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to update you on the results I have. Maybe that will help you guys out as well when you're making an iPhone app, because I'm curious. I'm going to let you guys know how many sales I get. If I get in the top 100, how many sales it took to get there. I'll share my data with you guys too. So thank you for helping me be a part of this market test. And again, I want to return the favor by letting you know how the results are. All right, so this is called How to Make an iPhone App, and then also I put this in parentheses with a little smiley face here because I'm classy like that at the very end, because more importantly, this is about how to market it. I'm going to show you how to make the iPhone game, exactly how I made mine, but that part is easy. The hard part is marketing the app, because that's what most people don't do. All right, so first you need to find an idea for the software. So we're going to use good old Google for that. We're going to type in App Store, and you'll see right now it's the second one down. It's the App Store downloads on iTunes. That's the link you want to look for. All right, then we'll wait for this to load up. And even though it's really ugly, I'm not sure why they don't have this laid out better, this is the App Store that you can view on your computer. So we can click on like health and fitness, and I'm not clicking on that correctly, and then see all the health and fitness stuff they got going on. All right, and it's sorted by popular apps. So obviously you want your app to be in the popular apps section. The best thing to do is probably look and see what is popular right now. But let me tell you what I did. So I decided to make an iPhone game, and as you guys know, it's called Colo's Journey. And I think I mentioned this in the little video you saw before, but I wanted to make a game like Simon Says and Guitar Hero. And I produce music, so I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to make the music for the game. And really, even before I thought about Guitar Hero, the real point of the game was Simon Says, but you make the Simon Says work, or when you finish Simon Says, you actually make a part of a song. I wanted people to feel like they're making music, even though they're just playing Simon Says. And that was really my premises for the game. Now, I thought about that because I have an iPhone. I love downloading iPhone apps. And I was checking the free section and noticed there was a couple Simon Says games on there. That was kind of what gave me the notion to do that. I was like, Simon Says is cool, but man, let's take it a step further. What can we do? All right, so anyway, I'm not saying you guys need to start with a game. Start with whatever you're interested in. I love music, so I did a music game, right? I can sit there and write music all day long. If I could do that, nothing else, I'd be happy. I love doing it. I don't know, I love marketing too, though. So they're both passions of mine. But anyway, pick something that's a passion of yours. If you love sports, if you're a football person, see, I don't watch any football. I got long hair like a hippie. If I went to a football game, I'd probably get my ass kicked. But I love doing music stuff, right? So I did that. If you like sports, do sports. If you travel all the time, do that. If you're a weatherman, then do a weather app. But anyway, check out and see at the App Store what the big categories are. These are the big categories of apps. So pick out which one works best for you. And then see, if you're really into news, what other news ones are out there and what you can copy, because you can't make Men's Health magazine, so maybe news might be a bad one if you look at everything that's about big news companies out there, then maybe that's not a good niche for you to get in. So do a little competitive research in the App Store itself and pick something and go with it. And also, one more good piece of advice for this, because I'm not just saying go here and pick something random. You gotta have something unique. Don't try to make Angry Birds. It's too late for that. They've already done that. Or even Doodle Jump. And I'll go ahead and tell you guys. I wasn't going to mention this, but truth is, I'm about to come out with the next game. It's going to be Colo Jump. It's going to be Doodle Jump type stuff with Colo, and it's going to be a step above it, though, with different characters you can pick to do the jumping. Kind of like, I'm actually going to call it like a mix of Super Mario Brothers 2, if there's any old school gamers out there. Super Mario Brothers 2 for the NES mixed with Doodle Jump. So anyway, try to come up with a unique hook, a unique angle, just like you would do in a marketing presentation or something you're doing with marketing, and do the same thing when you're making your game. If it's unique, people are going to like it more. All right, so that is how to get a good idea for your software. Next up, we want to talk about how to have the software made. Most people think this is the most difficult part, and besides making a website, I think it's actually the easiest part, okay? All right, so let me pull back up Safari here. And I use Odesk. That's Odesk.com. That's just like freelancer.com, getafreelancer.com, elance.com, guru.com. All these are places you can find people to outsource your work to. Odesk is the one I use for everything, including making this entire iPhone game. Unfortunately, I've already closed off the account with the iPhone developer, and I'm actually going to probably hire this guy full time because he's awesome. And I really thought his work was like phenomenal, so I really want to try to snag this guy up. But I found him on Odesk, and I'm showing you now someone else who is building a different piece of software for me. And check this out. So this is on Wednesday, December 22nd. I can see what this programmer, just so I clarify this, guys, we're looking at a different person I was using on Odesk to build a web app, okay? I built the iPhone game in Odesk, right? And I got a guy from Russia to build the iPhone app, but he had the same exact setup where I could see what he's doing all the time. All right, so this is like your bird's eye view into their computer. It literally takes a screenshot of their computer every 15 minutes, believe it or not. All right, so I can see exactly that this guy didn't work, you know, for the beginning, from 10 o'clock to 10:20, he didn't work. He came online about 10:39. And what he does, he starts up an Odesk application on his computer, and it takes screenshots every 10 minutes. So that way I know he's working. If you ever notice someone's playing a video game or screwing off or something, you obviously fire them. Here's why this is so important to use Odesk instead of Guru, in my opinion, or Elance or someone like that. And they might have this technology, I think Odesk was the first, is this work diary technology that takes a screenshot of them doing the work, all right? So here's the deal. Let's say you come up with a great idea. You want to make an RSS feeder that displays news and jokes, and you're going to just sell to people who like news and jokes, all right? Bad idea. Just came up with it quickly, all right? Then if you outsource that project, and let's say it cost you $500, then after spending $100, if you notice he was screwing around, after spending $5 if he was screwing around, because if you're watching him, you'll catch him, you know? So after spending 1 hour, you know, of work or whatever, if you notice he was watching a movie or something, immediately get rid of the guy, all right? But still, even after halfway through a project, I gotta be honest with you guys, I ended up not using this guy, and I spent $400. This was a really big project. I won't get down, I can't really divulge all the info on it because I'm still in the middle of it. But it was a really big project, and after $400 spent, I canceled this guy out. But honestly, I should have done it after $100. I knew it wasn't going right, but I just said screw it because I had so much stuff going on. Anyway, if you're watching someone on Odesk and you notice that they're not doing it quick enough, or they're not getting stuff done like you think they should, then you need to cancel them out and get a new person, all right? But when you post it, you just simply say, look, I want to make an iPhone game, an iPhone app, here's what I want, and contact me for further details. You'll get 1 million people contacting you. All right, so that's how to have the software made. You want to use Odesk. And the biggest advice I can give for this, before picking a programmer, before you pick one, make sure you view all of their previous work. Don't just look at one thing, look at all their previous work, make sure it's up to snuff, especially their latest stuff. So with my guy, I did not even entertain the idea of hiring anyone until I could actually see their iPhone app in the App Store, download it to my device, and look at it. So I got like 5 or 6 bids, or more than that. I got 5 or 6 people that I was interested in out of, you know, maybe 15, 20 bids. And then those people, I was like, all right, let me see your app. I looked at all their apps, I played their games, and I was like, all right, this guy right here is the best, you know? And he also was not the most expensive by far. I had one person on Odesk trying to charge me 10 grand, or say it would be about 10 grand. And then this guy was 1,700. And one more thing, let me pull Odesk back up before I get ahead of myself here. There's one more thing I want you to look out for. After they do a full day's work, I want you to ask them, how many more hours do you think it would take to complete? Well, first off, when you hire them the first time, this is kind of normal practice with Odesk, you'll want to know, how long will it take you to complete it? All right, let's say they say 40 hours. All right, great. After they do one full day, or even a few hours if they just work a few hours that first day, say, how many hours do you think now it'll take you? A lot of times that number will change, and you can find out if you got a good programmer or not. If someone says, oh, man, now I'm thinking it might take 80 hours, then I would can them. I wouldn't do it because they're probably leading you on. I just wouldn't trust it. So you want to make sure you find out how many hours they think it's going to take, and then after they start the project, how many more hours it will take. All right, so now that you've done that, now that you have the software being made, during this process, it's your time to make a website. This is very important because we're going to promote your app, and you got to have a website to promote it. All right, so, all right, let's see if I can find, oh, this is it. All right, if you type in iPhone app WordPress theme into Google, then you'll see a bunch of stuff pop up. I used the first one that popped up here, and I looked at all of them. I didn't just choose this first. It's a nice looking WordPress theme. If you don't have WordPress or you don't have a website at all, then you need to go to bluehost.com and sign up with these guys. That's who I use for 90% of my stuff. And they actually, when you sign up with them, you log in, there's a button that says WordPress. You click that button, it installs WordPress. And then you just install this WordPress theme in there. They'll give you directions on how to do it. Even if you're not computer savvy, if you're not scared to spend an hour, 2 hours maybe tops with it, you can do it yourself, I promise you. All right, so if you don't like that theme or you want to switch it up, then go through here. There's a bunch of different themes available. And I ended up going with this theme, but I switched it up a little bit. I'll show it to you. All right, colosjourney.com. And you can see, here I'll make it even smaller so you can see it. It's the same theme. I still got the iPhone here, all that kind of stuff. But I chose a gray background instead of the blue. I didn't want all the bubbles and stuff. And I thought it just would look better with this particular color layout of the screen. So anyway, that's how you make the website. It's really not that hard. You want to just find a template that's already made by some fancy designer, buy that for 60 bucks, and install it on your WordPress site, and you're miles ahead of the competition who are trying to out there program their own website when they don't know what they're doing, right? All right, now the last thing you want to do, and this is so very important, is promote your app. Now here's the thing, I've researched this, I bought books on it through Amazon.com. I've researched, I found forums where other iPhone developers are talking all while I was making my app and before I made my app, because I knew one thing about software. I've sold millions of dollars worth of software, and one thing I definitely know is that it's all about the marketing, it's not about making it. And to prove this point, there's so many, including the guy who I think is awesome, who made my app. He's made apps before. They didn't do that well because he told me he did zero marketing for it. He would make the app, put it in the App Store, and just pray that it made a bunch of money. All right? That's what separates with software the guys who make tons of money and the guys who just scrape by. So you've got to know how to promote your app. Here's what we're going to do. All right, so we want to type iPhone app blog into Google and write down all these addresses. Okay? You can copy them into a notepad. All these addresses. Or you just go to them. But here's the point. I want you to go through all this stuff, all these websites, contact them, and get them to review your app. All right? You got to actively go out and try to get these people to review your app. And if you have a game, you type in iPhone game blog and do the same. Touch Arcade is a huge site. And I'm doing all this for my app. And no, they're not going to all go through. Some of them are going to actually try to charge you money for a review. And, it just depends. If you think it's a good deal and you see that they get a bunch of site, look at them on quantcast.com and see if they get a bunch of traction, then maybe you might want to do it. I'm going to do it with a few, but not with all of them. Now, another thing you can do is use Google AdWords and only choose to display the advertisements on iPhones. Most of the time, when people display ads on Google, they remove the iPhones. Actually, it teaches people to do that. But in this case, I would want to do only people on an iPhone, because then you can direct link straight to your app and say, hey, look, do you like here's a great example. Here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to have anyone that types in Guitar Hero. I'm going to say, oh, you like Guitar Hero? Well, check out this Guitar Hero game in the App Store right now. They click on it, they go straight to my game. So that's a really good form of advertising. Assuming how cheap the clicks are and how high your conversion rates, it might not be a money maker for you. But again, that first 72 hours, if you can get a bunch of sales coming through with a promotion like I'm trying to do now, or advertisings, or being on toucharcade.com, any of this kind of stuff, if you can get a little rush of sales going in, it might be enough to push you in that top 100 games or subsection. Even if I'm in the top 100 puzzle games, I'd be super stoked, right? Because someone's going to be looking at puzzle games, someone's going to get down to the hundreds, to the bottom half. If I'm number 88 in the puzzle games, I'm stoked, because at least it gives me a chance to rise up the rankings. So that first 72 hours, if you can really try to push it out with some promos like this, it'll help your game sell in the long run. All right, so that is how I made this iPhone app, all right, and how I marketed it as well. So first, I came up with an idea for the software, then I had it made. I made a website that you saw, and that you saw, and then promoted the app. So that's it. It's really not that hard to do. But this last part here, make sure you spend as much time on this as you do on this. All right? That is very important. If you put a lot of effort into marketing your app, then you are going to definitely have a much better chance of making money with it. So anyway, I'll report back to you guys. I'll let you know my stats, and I might do that publicly on the blog or just email you. But thank you so much for checking this out. I appreciate you guys for helping me with this test, and hopefully you learned a little bit about how to make an iPhone app. This is Trey Smith, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.